If you need any Xbox or PlayStation codes or anything gaming related, check the referral links down in the description. They'll take you to g2a.com. They already have a discount on most of their goods already, and with the code CHES at checkout, you can get yourself an extra 3% off as well.
Hey guys, how's it going? Ches back again and welcome to episode number 38 of the Inter Milan career mode here on FIFA 15. We start with an away game against Parma. Now we're doing okay in the league so far, as you can see from the league table on your screen right now. Currently sat second but with a game in hand on Juventus. We're only a point behind them as well. They drew the only other game that they've played more than us. So hopefully with 3 points here against Parma we can move ourselves back on top of the table. But it's not going to be easy. They're playing a very offensive 4-3-3 formation with Belfodil through the top. And obviously the pace of Biabiani out wide on the right hand side is going to be a massive concern. So I'm going to have to be careful in this one, because of course we do play a 3 at the back formation. So we're going to have to be wary of those balls in behind down those wide channels. We're playing with Rodrigo and Mauro Icardi up top in this particular game. A very strong first team lineup out for this one against Parma, hoping to continue our good form and push further up towards the top of the table and dethrone Juventus as that top team for the second time this season. Rodrigo though turning inside here really nicely, trying to find a bit of space, just gets completely blocked off. A definite penalty there. The referee had no option but to point to the spot, and Mendes has no questions really to actually be genuinely put to the referee, because there's only one answer. It was a straight penalty. Unfortunately though, goalkeeper saved it, so we're back to status quo and we stay at 0-0, which is really disappointing because Rodrigo's put in a couple of very, very good penalties for us so far this season. We steal the ball off them though in the midfield here with Freddy Guarin into Moussa Sissoko. Lovely run by Rodrigo this time. Gets the shot off quite early and that completely does the goalkeeper. Into the back of the net it goes just 2 or 3 minutes after he missed his pen. Didn't let it phase him whatsoever, and we are eventually finding ourselves with a 1-0 lead. Belfodil though up to Jonathan Biabiani here. Back to Mariga, across to Belfodil. Well cut out by Sissoko, but the pass was atrocious. Cut out by Belfodil, and he makes me pay for the mistake, drilling it into the bottom corner to make it 1-1. Literally 3 minutes after we went 1-0 in front. So we miss a penalty, then we score, and then they score again, all in the space of about 6 in-game minutes. But as we head into the second half, Biabiani coming down here, so much pace and strength for the first defender, completely sells me with the turn inside, and then took it a little bit further wide. I brought the keeper out when he beat the defender that committed to the slide tackle, and he just took that extra 2 or 3 paces. Of course has the pace to be able to open up the angle to fire it into that bottom corner without being able to, or without having to worry about Bernd Leno being able to get back across to it. So we find ourselves 2-1 down, and then a couple of minutes after that we commit the defender to the challenge in the box, and their goalkeeper will be particularly disappointed that he wasn't able to get on the end of that shot and keep it out. But particularly pleased myself with the finish from Mauro Icardi. So we score, they score 2 minutes later, they score, we score 2 minutes later, and we get a 2-2 draw away from home against Parma. Not exactly what I wanted, but it does put us back on top of the table on goal difference, I believe, although I'm not entirely too sure. But as you can see, we're into the Europa League for the second game of the episode. Of course, with a 100% record to this point, with wins over PAOK and Brøndby so far. I think we got a 1-0 win over PAOK, or a 2-1 win, and then of course we got the 4-0 victory over Brøndby yesterday, I believe it was, and taking on a rotation side in this one to hopefully get 3 points against St Etienne. We did play them in the Europa League last year in the knockout phases, and we're actually victorious in that one. Actually 2 very, very entertaining games with plenty of goals. We'll be hoping for a clean sheet this time around, although obviously they are a difficult side to play against. They're also playing a 4-3-3 as well, which proved effective for Parma, so they'll be hoping that it can prove effective for St Etienne as well. They're going to have the first chance in the opening few minutes. Corner comes in, it's headed clear as far as Claymon, gets it into Nguemu, who fires it across to the penalty spot where Erdinch is waiting, and that is an extremely good finish off the inside of his left foot, in off the post, kind of bent away from the goalkeeper, in off the woodwork, and we find ourselves 1-0 down very early on. Disappointed with that, but then Cavandon steals it off them in the midfield. We of course scored a goal after nicking it off Palmer in the midfield like that, where Rodrigo raced through and then fired it through the goalkeeper. Marco Sal does exactly the same. 20 minutes into the game, we're back on level terms and back with a shout of winning this game if we can get ourselves a second goal and go 2-1 up. It's exactly what I was going to try to do here. Sal trying to play a 1-2 with Taidea. Lovely ball back over the top to him. Got the pace to get away from Saul, but he was an extremely good defender against me in Twitch career mode a couple of weeks ago, actually playing on FIFA, and I know that he's extremely tall and extremely strong, and he was able to force Marco Sal wide, and we weren't able to get the opportunity there to get the second goal. But Brozovic finds Dybala, he tries to find the back of the net, but Stefan Ruffier with a brilliant reaction save to get it around the post, leave us still level as we headed in at half-time towards the second half, but again trying to utilise the pace and the dribbling ability of Marco Sal. Plays a lovely ball into Damian here, going to have to take it quite early after taking it around the defender, and again Stefan Ruffier with a decent save, so he was the difference so far. We were definitely dominating after going 1-0 down early on, and for a second time, or for a numerous amount of time in this particular episode, we steal the ball off the opposition in the midfield and catch them on the counter-attack. Dybala this time with a shot, and again Ruffier with another very, very good save. Not only did he make the save, the defender kept churning those legs and keeps it from going out for a corner as well. But Dybala was not to be denied. Took this one early. I think actually you see from the second replay, I think the defender got a touch to it, which is why the goalkeeper seemed to dive the wrong way. Defender comes through, goalkeeper dives to his right, it went to his left, and we have ourselves a 2-1 lead, and ultimately we found ourselves with a 2-1 victory as well. So despite having dropped points in the league so far this season, we maintain our 100% record in the Europa League. 3 games played in the group stage and 9 points. Very pleased with how things are going in Europe right now. Of course, we are defending champions of the Europa League, and last year it was a game against Roma, a draw against Roma, that cost us Champions League football. So after picking up a victory in the Europa League, I really wanted to bounce back here with a victory over Roma if I possibly could. We are perhaps losing pace with the teams above us slightly, but of course we do still have that game in hand and can close up. But we do sit 3 points behind the side at the top of the table currently. Back with a stronger lineup for this one. Obviously the fixtures come thick and fast when you play in Europe, and it is quite difficult to manage the squad, but we do our best, and so far it's been working okay for us, with winning probably 85 to 90% of our games so far this season, every game in the Europa League, and we've only not won 3 so far in the Serie A. Actually, no, I think we've only not won 1 so far. No, 2 so far in Serie A. We've won 6, drawn 1, lost 1. And we'll be hoping to make this 1-7, drawn 1, lost 1 if we possibly can. Gökhan Toure in the box in the opening 5 minutes or so. Turns inside, gets it to Mateo Kovacic. And that looked like a tame penalty at first glancing. Looked as if he, perhaps gone down rather softly. But if you watch the replay, Dorosidis comes through it. He almost leaps into the challenge and kind of sits on Kovacic's left thigh. It's quite a strange one. If you look at the replay, he jumps in with 2 feet there and just kind of sits on his knee. That's what forces him to go down. And it was a definite penalty, but you had to see the replay to be able to see it in real time in slow-mo, or from real time in slow-mo, so that we could actually see that it was a penalty. But the referee saw it in real time, gave it, and Rodrigo nailed the penalty this time around after missing one against Parma. And pleased to be 1-0 up against the side that we really need to be beating, hopefully, if we want to find ourselves back up towards the top of the table. Rodrigo goes on a great run here. Good save down low by Silasson, though, palmed away. And they're going to steal the ball off us here. Get the good header there by Florenzi. Then De Rossi plays the ball into him. He's actually going to get it really luckily back to him here, De Rossi, as I tackle Florenzi, but then Shaqiri comes through and tackles me, and eventually the ball winds its way to Gervinho's feet, who with a very tidy finesse finish right into the top right hand corner brings Roma back on level terms at 1-1. Not what we needed. And then we're just before half time here. The ball's going to come in from a corner, a mix up between defender and goalkeeper at the near post, and a real let off as Gervinho hits the woodwork, hits the post from the following header at the back stick, and then we are able to get a block in by Ranocchia at the front post. So we get a let-off in the last few stages of the first half, and they get a let-off here in the opening few stages of the second half. That shot deflected off the defender's face and could have gone anywhere from Freddy Guarin. It looked as if it perhaps was going to, rotate round into the far corner, but unfortunately for me, it went wide. So we'll take the corner. Cherdan Shaqiri is going to be the man to stand it up. Freddy Guarin, after missing the initial shot, does get his goal, though, rising up brilliantly at the near post to give us a 2-1 lead as we headed deeper into the second half. We are on the verge of 90 minutes here, and we're on the attack, and they steal it off us, and the counter-attack is coming again, just as it did in the first half when we had the opportunity to go it further in front, and they eventually pegged us back at the other end. Jackson Martinez with a beautiful ball across, but the ball across was one thing, but the finish from Juan Iturbe, that is one of the best first-time finishes I've seen on FIFA 15 this year. Gorgeous left-footed shot, bending away from the goalkeeper into the bottom corner. Absolutely nothing that Bernd Leno could do about that, and Roma steal a draw against us again. Hopefully this season that won't be as costly a draw as it was last year, and we can try and get ourselves a victory when we travel to the Stadio Olimpico later in the season, because Roma sit down in 10th. They've now won 3, drawn 3, lost 3, so not the best of seasons for them so far, and the only side we've lost to so far this season, Fiorentina, are actually down in 13th, and that's their only win this year. But we currently sit in 3rd place, only 2 points so behind Juventus, and still Sassuolo up there, having won 7 and drawn 2, sit a point above us. We are level with AC Milan, our local intercity rivals, on points but above on goal difference, and then there's a bit of a gap to Lazio and Palermo below us. So Napoli still yet to come into the European picture, so you can see down there in 8th and Roma in 10th. You would expect those two sides to push further up the table between now and the end of this season, but we're about a quarter of the way through so far, and I'm pleased to be in a Champions League spot, perhaps slightly disappointed not to be top, but still definitely within touching distance of that top spot. We have already beaten Juventus once this season, and if we need to beat them again to make sure that we finish top, we'll do exactly that when the time comes. But that is going to bring today's episode to a close. Thank you very much for watching. As always, feel free to drop the video a like if you enjoyed it. It really does help the channel out when you leave loads of likes, and of course subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to make sure you don't miss out on any future content. But there will be a My Player episode for you later on tonight, I believe, although actually thinking about it, this may be, no, there will be a My Player episode for you later on tonight. This is Thursday's episode, isn't it? So we'll have a My Player for you tonight, another episode of this tomorrow, as well as Career Mode Road to Glory. We'll be streaming Football Manager on Twitch as well tonight, of course. Links in the description to that, and to my Twitter, and to my sponsor G2A as well if you want to check them out. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.